Raanan is fat and he's a Jew. He'll tell you something that you already knew. Your favorite movie sucks. Your favorite movie sucks. American Beauty or Forrest Gump. Your favorite movie sucks.
All right, we are back.
Yeah.
With Your Favorite Movie Sucks, my new podcast where I have friends over. I rewatch their favorite movie and I talk about what's great, what's bad, and what I think the movie says about you. And today we have Chloe Radcliffe, a great comedian. And she has a great solo show, I gotta say, a really great solo show called Cheat.
Thank you.
About her being a whore, and it's really good though.
Thank you.
It's about how she's cheated on everyone but one person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Now the numbers are going up.
yeah. But I just the person she was with before is a good friend of mine. He's actually on the podcast next week, and she's actually drinking out of. They broke up, and then he married a woman, and she's drinking out of their wedding gift.
You're making me drink out of my ex's new wife's mug,
which I didn't consciously give you, but I think subconsciously I must have on some level.
You're trying to help me process my past.
It just feels like the kind of shitty thing I would do.
Yeah,
it feels like that. You know how I like to
really rub it in people's faces
out of boredom. You know.
Hey, your ex is happily married to an artist.
She's
a wonderful woman.
She's a ceramicist, which is very hard on my list.
Is that a word?
And what? I don't know, but she made that. She forged, not forged. That's the incorrect term. She fired up the kiln.
Yes.
And made that.
And threw the pot.
And it's now being drunk by, I guess, a woman who helped her find her person. So in a way, it's really kind of beautiful.
A woman who was with her husband for just a couple years in between them being together.
Yes.
They were together before.
They left. My friend dated Chloe. He realized he made a huge mistake, and then he came back.
Honestly, you guys are welcome.
I
actually think I did a service here. I showed our mutual friend who he should actually be with.
Everyone won from it because they're together, and you have a show. I just want to say before you start, I really like this show, and I say that as someone who I expected not to like it. I felt a duty not to like it because my friend might have been one of the people. Good friend,
but could be the one.
Could be the one. She says this premise is she's cheated on everyone besides one of her exes, which is a brilliant way. She's like,
woo! Barely made it past that one.
She's like, I cheated on just every ex except one, and even though the show is about how I have not overcome this problem, somehow I did overcome it, but it's not brought up in the show. Yeah. But whatever. Anyway, that's she went to.
And if you are my ex watching this podcast, that one was you.
But I want to say why the show is so great is because the reason I liked it. If Jeff hears this, he's going to be so mad at me. But whatever. I'm loyal to good art.
Jeff is never going to listen to a podcast that I'm on.
Well, he might.
He's not. I don't think so. I think he's
done. Yeah, he might be done.
No, he's just his reaction would go, "What? Why would I listen to that? Why would I?"
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
That's exactly how he would.
Yeah, no, I guess you're right. But I saw it. I was like, it's a solo show, which I always find they tend to be very manipulative and tend to be kind of like, oh, I'm the victim. Let me convince everyone how I'm flawed, but I'm still the hero. There's a manipulation, and most people who do solo shows are sociopathic. I truly believe that. Mm-hmm.
And I'm in that category.
Yes, but your sociopathology is such that you made a wonderful show because what happened was most shows are like, oh, let me deal with the fact that I'm depressed when really the problem is you're a fucking asshole, but you avoid talking about that. Yeah. Or Mulaney's like, let me talk about the problem everyone had, my drug addiction. When really, not that I care, but the reason people were mad were not about his drug addiction.
It was about how he treated it.
It was about how he left he went for an upgrade.
Yeah.
Which, look, he went for an upgrade and he wasted his wife's fertile years.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess her last fertile years.
Yeah.
And you can be fertile at, I guess, 13. Though
Jesus,
pedophilia is...
Raanan.
I'm just saying.
What?
I'm just saying, the fertile is a long time. I'm just saying, nature is a little pedophiliac because a 13-year-old could have a baby.
Oh, sure. I mean, look,
not humans, but nature's a pervert.
Oh, the human body,
Yeah.
the female body is supposed to be pregnant at 16.
Yeah, God.
That is when we actually should be
God's
having
a
babies.
pervert. God's like, I'm gonna give a 13-year-old tits, and I'm gonna make her ready to fuck, and that's fucked up. I'm not attracted to 13-year-olds, but apparently God is saying they're ready to be fucked, which is fucked up.
Ranan's like, I'm not saying it. God's saying it. I'm looking around. I'm reading the writing on the wall. I am not saying that, but who am I to say God is wrong?
of
Who
course.
am I to critique God?
No, I mean, of course, obviously, I'm not a pedophile. Mainly because women my age are annoying enough. I can't really go beyond that. But anyway, I'm just
I would
joking.
actually say you can't say obviously you're not a pedophile. It's not obvious.
It's obvious.
A lot of the data points to.
But anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is John Mulaney. Oh, I love John Mulaney, but it's a whole show about his drug addiction. But it's really distraction from maybe the things that people were really upset about. So there is always with a show, I find a lot of the times the need to control the PR,
Yes.
to control it. It's like especially now, so many of them are just almost like PR spins. But what was so good about your show, and I didn't want to like it, you know, as an obligation to my friend, but you might not have cheated on him. But the thing is, it was exciting to watch because you didn't have that control over the PR. You went on stage and said, I've cheated with almost everyone I've ever been with. And that's a tough thing to let an audience know because men are like, what a whore. And then women really hate you. You know what I mean? Even more so. But it made it exciting for once to see someone be like, to not control how people think of you, to let them judge and really give up that control. And then it was very funny and very, very good. But there was an excitement in the air.
Thank you.
And I really loved it. I debated afterwards whether I should share it because Jeff might see it, and I don't want him to see me sharing.
And you did share.
I did share because
Wow.
I believe in
and that's where Ranan's allegiance lies. But this is payback.
This is
You're
payback.
like, look, I shared it. I shared your show. I'm gonna make you drink out of Jeff's
my
wife's
allegiance is to good art, and if I see something good, I feel the need to share it.
mug. Including this mug.
Yeah. I was actually gonna hide. I was gonna hide it from him.
Oh yeah,
And
I
then-
think that's reasonable.
And then my girlfriend was like, "You shouldn't hide it from him. You should just not." I don't know what she said. We got in an argument, but I ended up not hiding it from him.
I also think it would have been completely reasonable to hide
Yeah,
it.
I should have hid it.
To hide it from him.
Yeah.
But also, it's like he knows what the show is. He knows I'm doing the show. He knows what the show is.
Well, he probably doesn't need a good friend to be like.
Sure.
I totally get it from his perspective, but
Of course, no. I'm not saying that he's like that's awesome, but I'm just saying like you can't protect him. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm famously with relationships. I tend to be pretty Switzerlandy about it. You know what I mean? But anyway, so
Yeah, I think about solo shows like there's a lot of solo, and this is a thing I've said before, but there's a lot of solo shows about things that have happened to people.
Yeah.
And there are very few about things that people have done.
yes, and that is why it was interesting. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
No, that's exactly, yeah.
That was why it's if I ever need to cut you off, it's with a compliment. You're like, no, it's fine, go ahead.
Yeah,
but
please.
that is what was so exciting. It was actually not a pity party or a victim show. It was about a victimizer. it was
Yeah.
like it wasn't about shit that's been done to you. Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't about you having cancer or like, whoa,
We've all done something bad.
it was
We've all hurt
about
people.
you being a bad person.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of shit I love.
Yeah.
And I think and I mean this in a very nice way, it took your specific level of sociopathology to have the ability to do it. Right?
Uh-huh. You mean like it like for me to be able to go on stage and be like, yes, I got an Airbnb to fuck somebody and
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, it's
Not
like
but you know what I mean. Whatever you
Is-
are.
yes. Well, the like the willingness to admit wait, the will actually wait, can I redo that line because me saying that like ruins a thing in the
You can redo
show?
it here. I'm not going to edit it. I'm not going to go back and edit.
All right,
I'm
well-
filming this from my rape dungeon. I can't it's not like big, effects. Yeah.
Anyway, anyway, come see the show. But like you're saying that me being willing to say here's a list of bad things that I've done.
Yes.
Here you go. Do what you
Yes.
will with
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Yes. It takes some degree of like callous
Yeah, no, obviously you're not a sociopath.
I don't mean like
that.
I am callous. I mean like I have calloused to the idea of people knowing that.
You know what? It's not, I should not speak in personality. I should speak in what movie character you are. You are, and we've talked about this, 100% Tracy Flick from Election.
We have talked about this, and I haven't seen Election. Although
haven't seen Election?
No, but it's on. I have the VHS copy of it in my mom's basement at Christmas.
You are
We'll watch
100% that. I mean, she's a Republican. You're more of a liberal, but kind of like with Republican drive, and and she
the Republican interest in
she
success.
had a mom who like believed in her so much, and she was like this had such a drive in high school. And she would knock a couple people down for the drive, you know, but like she had this drive and this, she was a interesting character, but nothing could stop her from getting what she wanted done, you know?
Okay, and are you saying that what I wanted done was to flirt with a man, even if I was in a relationship?
No, I mean like you had the ballsiness to like go on stage and be like, this is what I fucking did.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I've always been like compulsively open about having a history of cheating. I think because I always had the instinct that like if I kept it a secret, it would turn into something much worse than whatever it turned into.
Yeah.
And like the version of cheating that I did for a very, very, very long time, the two reactions that I get most commonly from men, the reaction I get most commonly from women when I say I've cheated a lot is, yes, I have too.
Yes.
But the reaction that I've gotten most commonly from men is it splits down the middle. Either men say, I haven't cheated, but I know someone who has.
Which is them? Or
I mean, I assume, like...
They're doing the thing you do on your show.
the
what do you call it? The thing at the beginning. I've cheated on everyone but one person.
Yes. You figure it out.
The fine
like, get out of
print.
jail.
Yeah,
Exactly. Or I have men come up to me after seeing the show and go, oh my God, does that count? And it's not like I was physically cheating for sure, but like I was never married. I never had kids. And I held the line at having sex. I didn't have full penetrative sex because it was like a justification thing, you know, an arbitrary justification for me to still feel like I was in control and whatever, and I have had men come up to me privately and be like, what I have done is so like light years worse than what you said on stage, and I can't tell anybody, or like my family
light
knows.
years worse would be rape and murder.
I know, right?
I feel like just penetrating.
And a lot of them. No, but they're
actually
saying
maybe
like,
even eating the person. I feel like penetrative sex.
They're saying
would
like,
not be light years.
but they're saying like second family, or like
I see.
Or like I sustained an affair for 8 years.
I'm just trying to get the
like
measurement.
That, you know,
in my head
Okay.
correct.
Okay. So not light years. Let's say like
a couple
layers of the atmosphere.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that works. And speed of sound.
Yeah.
So it's funny, like most solo shows, like people like, I connect you, I have depression, I have anxiety. You're the voice for the cheaters. People are like,
Well, and
but that's important. That's important to be honest. Because everyone's honest about their fucking cancer in the balls bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's important to be honest about the shit that's hard to be honest about. Not the shit that's like, we all want to have that for our fucking identity.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. I think, to me, look, I think that it is healthier to be open about like whatever the wound is and and like whatever that has turned you into. And like cheating I am hard pressed to think of another topic that so many people can relate to that so few people want to talk about.
Yes, you found an actual thing.
And I think it is because, so we have like more sympathy for serial killers, for murderers on TV than we do for cheaters.
Yeah.
Like there are so many more programs about like the inside of the serial killer's mind. What made the murderer
Well, I
do
feel
it?
like a lot of those serial killers are also cheating. Though I will say, if you murder the woman, if you rape and murder her, you don't think, oh, that guy was married, that's fucked up. you don't a classified ad. So if you go,
were the serial killers married?
I mean, some of them were, yeah, of course, yeah, a lot of them were, but you don't go like, oh, he was a serial, you know, like when you find the BTK killer was like a serial killer, you're not like, I can't believe he cheated on his wife.
Poor wife.
Yeah, if someone like killed 42 kids, you're not
No,
like, how dare he cheat on the holy.
But what I'm saying is like that we don't have like. We have shows about murderers and
Yes.
we don't have shows about cheaters.
Yes.
And I've tried to figure out why cheating feels like more of a third rail than murder, than death.
Yeah.
And I think it is because cheating is the worst thing that anybody could reasonably have engaged in. Like, murder is beyond, like, I'm assuming that you
I see
have
what
not
you're saying.
murdered. You know,
No.
like, I think you can, like, safely walk around and be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that whoever I'm talking about
You seem
has
pretty
not killed
surprised
somebody.
that I haven't fucked kids, so I don't know. And you fucking, but yeah, I see what you're saying. Yes,
Yeah,
it
you
is
keep
just-
them alive.
It is a crime that it's the most common crime.
It's
that
the
we don't admit
highest
to.
of
Yeah.
the common one.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the worst of the, like, applies to everybody. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's totally true. It's the worst one of the thing that, like,
That anybody
It's not
could
kid
have done.
fucking where you push them away from society. They're much part of society,
Right.
And it's a big part of how society functions. Is cheating, and it's judged, but it's also like
People
part
turn
of
a
it.
blind eye.
Yeah.
And also that people turn a blind eye when they know about it. They don't talk about it. They don't address it. If they know about it and it's not, like, directly hurting them. And when it does directly hurt them, like, the only time we talk about it is when somebody is directly hurt, and then the narrative is just cheaters are the villain, cheaters are evil,
Yes.
cheating is bad. There is no, it is the most black and white
yes,
take on a topic that I think is so nuanced. And I do not condone cheating at all. Cheating is always bad. It always hurts somebody.
Yeah,
100% of the time. I always, even when the people who I was cheating on didn't find out, I 100% was hurting them because I was treating them. I was retracting in the
there are some
relationship.
exceptions, I think.
I don't think so. I think in every single case of cheating, somebody is getting hurt in an unnecessary
But let's
way.
say you're in like a really abusive, violent relationship, and you do need to get out of it, but you're afraid, and you meet someone who loves you, and you start cheating on them, cheating on this. Let's
Sure.
say
Okay.
like if
Okay.
you're with like a violent sociopath,
Yeah.
and then like you meet this guy, and you start fucking, and he gives you the courage to get out of it. But but that's not cheating. That's not saying okay. But the difference is that's not owning up to cheating because you're afraid to hurt someone's feelings. That's not owning up to it because you're afraid you're going to get murdered.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
a
like,
different
that's
situation.
extenuating circumstances,
Yeah.
right? Exactly. And so, sure, I guess, like, can I imagine some specific middle of the bingo card
Right.
where it's fine? Yeah,
Like
but
if someone's like, if you don't fuck Emma Watson, I'm going to nuke the world. Even if you're married. You
no,
have
no,
chance.
I'm taken.
Yeah. But that is.
Sorry, ladies.
That is, we're talking about why I liked your show, and I have no idea how we're going to connect this to the movie today. But the reason I liked your show, and I'm using your show to very much shit on most solo shows. The reason is because we live in a society now where when people pander, everyone goes brave,
Yes.
and then when people actually say something brave, people are like, "Fuck you, you whore."
Yes.
You know, and so you broke through that. And so much of all like anti-woke, like we're supposed to think anti-woke comics are brave for just saying retard, even though that's what everyone in the audience wants them to say.
I know.
And
It's-
woke's the same way.
It's the hackiest. It's the hackiest first thought punchline.
Yeah, but also, you know, we're supposed to pretend that it's brave for Jared Carmichael to come out as gay in Brooklyn. Gerard. That's like, oh, you know, how bravely he came out as gay a year, like in Brooklyn. Like it's fucking bullshit. You know, how bravely he decided to have a thing he needed in his career at that moment. But like,
Yes.
no offense to him.
The special. Have you seen the special?
It's terrible. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I found it so captivating.
It's captivating, but the man had one joke per like 45 minutes.
Yeah. But I was like, oh, I could just watch that. Like, as a piece, it's incredible.
Yeah, he's a charlatan, and so it's magnetic.
And that's kind of my whole thing.
But the difference is you actually are being brave.
Thank you.
And that is a difference. I think he's pretending to be brave, and that's what annoys me. When you tell a whole room of people that you've cheated on everyone you've been with, I felt that. I felt in the audience this we were going off the rails, this excitement that I had. And it's a good show. It's not only that. It's a very funny show, and it's moving at the end. And but like it had that excitement I just don't see anymore. And you're right. Admitting that you cheated, that is a thing people have done, but people are afraid to. So yeah, you know. So it's like, you know, you have the audacity. I joke when I say sociopath, but you know, you have the not giving a shitness.
Yeah, there
to
has
do
to be
that.
some kind of like I have a little bit of a distance between what I'm saying and then what I'm feeling the reaction, or like I can like drop the firewall.
You got to
a
see
little
the
bit.
show. Where
have to see the
is
show.
it? Chef's never gonna be friends with me again. I'm like plugging your show on the thing. Hear about Chloe cheat on my best friend all across the country. Where are the dates? No.
The hope is that I'm hoping to do another. I just attached a director for an off-Broadway run.
Oh, nice.
I don't have the run yet, but just attached to the director, and the hope is to do another one-off in January at a little theater.
Exciting.
So,
yeah. Check it out.
Trying to build it up. I mean, it is. I am worried. Like at some point, I'll want to shoot it as a special, and I am like, when this goes broad, if it goes broad, like. Am I about to ruin my life?
Right.
Fully unnecessarily, you know?
Yeah.
Or are people going to watch it? I don't care if people like.
But the show does. It's not like I don't want people to like the show. It does have guilt and it does have remorse and it does have all that shit. It just doesn't have this pretend guilt. It doesn't have this pretend fucking like victim thing. You're not a victim in it, and that's exciting to watch. And I guess it does get down to this issue of like. When someone's being honest, when someone does shit like that or opens up about stuff, is it honesty or is it a lack of shame? And this is where people divide around this is where the divide happens.
But why not porque no los dos?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know any Spanish.
Why not both?
Yeah, no, I know what you meant. I just was about to speak Spanish and then
let's hear it.
I didn't know.
Come on, right into the microphone.
Both. Yes, lack of shame and honesty. And I guess that's what I mean when I jokingly say sociopath. I think you have the kind of necessary lack of shame to bring that up.
Yeah.
While some people with shame end up being kind of deceptive and manipulative.
Of course.
Because they have shame.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course, because
because Mulaney might have shame about it that he doesn't bring that up. You know?
Of course.
So there's a lack of shame that goes to honesty.
Well, it's this like, I think that the lack of shame, the flip side of that coin is, and I'm about to say the most fucking woo-woo thing, so excuse me on this one, but it is like a deep belief that's still at my core. It is a deep belief in my worthiness as a person at my core, despite having done bad things.
Right.
And that I think shame is the belief, is like the lack of that sense of worthiness.
Right.
That you are not confident in your own personal like value and your own groundedness.
Right. And they say the difference between guilt and shame, right? Like guilt is just you did bad behavior. Shame is you're like a bad person.
Sure.
Maybe you have guilt but not shame. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I truly believe guilt for the most part is something in Hollywood movies. Like I just think
interesting.
I mean, not always obviously people have guilt, but I do think it's something that is the real world is not always. It's like when they captured all the Nazis after the Holocaust. Like none of them had. I mean, obviously it'd be weird if they did. It'd be weird if they were like, I feel really awful. But like I was reading this biography. We went to Auschwitz, me and Kate, recently, and so I read the biography of the guy who ran Auschwitz. And this is not biography. No. He ran it, and then he got caught by the.
No, sorry. When did you read the?
After. He ran Auschwitz, and then he got caught, and he was about to be executed. They're actually going to execute him at Auschwitz, and they made him write a confession.
Yeah.
And the confession is basically like a memoirs, and I'm reading it. I'm always fascinated by Nazis because a lot of them didn't think they were doing something wrong, but it's interesting to see how
they were justifying.
Yeah. And
because they never had full penetrative sex.
Yeah, exactly. And they said, or he said at one point, he goes, I had a choice to become a Nazi, and he worked his way up. I had a choice to become a Nazi, or I could have been a farmer, and I ended up deciding to be a Nazi. And sometimes I think back, I'm like, my life would have been a lot different if I just didn't get involved in that and just became a farmer. But who's to say what's right and who's to say what's wrong? He literally says that. Like he literally gets morally like, who's to know? I'm like, you're about to get executed for the greatest crime of humanity, and you're literally like, who's to know what's right? And who's to know what's
he's
wrong?
like, not my executors.
Yeah. But so I do think guilt oftentimes is
interesting. I feel guilt all the time, and I hate feeling guilt.
Yeah.
And I actually think that me hating feeling guilt has made me a very good apologizer. I have figured out how to say sorry not just I'm like very willing to say sorry, but also I have figured out how to identify exactly what I am apologizing for in a way that is going to sit with the person. Like where I'm going to be like, hey, I'm so sorry that like when I said this, I think probably what it made you feel was XYZ. And I'm like pretty good at naming this. And
but,
like,
come on, we all know what sorry is. Sorry is the greatest manipulative tool that ever has been given.
Well, so this is the
to get
thing.
out of getting caught, of getting out of getting bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. And so I think I hate feeling guilty so much that I've gotten very good at apologizing. And what being good at apologizing does is it means you never actually have to change your behavior.
Exactly.
And I did that for a very, very, very long
Sorry
time.
is the greatest tool any of us have. The people who can't say sorry, people are like, that person's an asshole. I'm like, no, that person's insane.
Yeah.
That's like the easiest.
Yeah.
You've made life so hard for yourself.
Yeah.
You can get out of so many things.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have to mean it.
And,
like you can just say,
and not only
I'm
you can
sorry.
get out, but you can like sometimes reverse your status. You can elevate your status by being like, hey, like I'm willing to really,
Kate,
throw myself
we
on
got
the
a
bus
couch the other day, and I had a pen that was leaking. Basically, the night we got our new couch, I stained
it
like with a lot of ink, and
an incredibly Raanan.
I did that. I did that thing, and I'm not saying it wasn't.
Oh no!
I'm not saying it wasn't genuine. I did that thing where I was so angry at myself that she couldn't get angry at me.
Yeah.
Now look.
Which is another manipulation tactic.
Absolutely.
Of course.
I was like, oh,
now
now
the person who's angry is doing the caretaking.
You got to be so harsh on yourself that it feels like gilding the lily if they get angry at you. But at the same time, I was able to find guilt in me to work with. So it might have started as manipulation, but I got there as a method actor. You know what I mean? No, but obviously I feel good. It's like a couch first day. But
what's the couch look like now?
We actually scrubbed it off. She cleaned it off pretty well.
You didn't clean it?
Look, this is a complicated relationship, okay?
I
tried. She doesn't let me do shit. Actually, at one point I was lying in the bed while she was scrubbing and she got really mad at me.
Raanan!
Look, I try to do shit. She won't let me. It's crazy.
You didn't sound like you were trying. You weren't at least there. You weren't saying, "Hey, can I grab the?
No,
hey, can I grab the
used
napkins from you?"
I was like, put salt on it. I heard that. That's like Curb Your Enthusiasm. I suggested shit. Look, I know I sound like an asshole, but trust me, it goes both ways. I try to do shit. She's like, you're doing it all wrong. You know what I mean? It goes.
Well,
both
maybe you could
ways.
do stuff better.
First of all, you're the cheater. I'm not gonna get fucking judged by a fucking cheater. All right? Yeah, you helped your ex clean up right before you went and blew the fucking FedEx guy. You fucking hypocrite. Don't fucking judge me. At least I'm not fucking cheating.
At least I'm just letting my lady clean up the messes that I make and laying in bed while she scrubs, while she uses all that elbow grease. At least I ain't.
You know what?
At least I ain't fantasizing about another lady.
Not to bring a call back in, but you cheating light years away from that. Light years.
Stratosphere. Layers of atmosphere.
But wait,
away.
I had a line that was about this so off the rail. I had a line that's going to get us to Dumb and Dumber. It was earlier. Oh, when you don't have shame, you're very honest when you don't have shame, which is kind of Dumb and Dumber. This is my segue.
Okay.
Because the movie.
Do you want me to bring up the thing I was going to say about Auschwitz and really derail us again?
Did you? Well, no, I'll never stop someone from saying something about Auschwitz. What are you going to say?
When I went, I was so.
You've been too? Oh my God!
And I was so. I remember going and being like, I'm so scared that I'm never going to feel happy again after this. And I remember, and when we left on the bus away, I looked out the window and it was like the sky seemed bluer than ever before, and it was like such a unexpected, absolutely opposite reaction of like life is so much more precious and so much more beautiful having seen that and having known how low it goes.
Yeah. I feel, I mean, it's hard for people to talk about. Like, there's things in life no one ever wants to talk about. Like, for instance, when shit gets bad, sometimes it can be kind of exciting because life is so boring before that, you know? I mean, I got pretty depressed when Trump became president. And I was actually kind of excited for a couple of days just because it was like...
It's a thing.
It's a thing, you know? And it's like, most of your life is so boring. Also, funerals. Funerals can be, I mean, unless you know the person really well, it does make you appreciate life when you get out of it, you know?
Yeah.
Are we just two sociopaths talking? You're like, I went to Auschwitz. I felt
Takes
great
on
after.
no one.
Yeah. But so, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, first of all, put shit into perspective.
Oh.
You know? Like, especially I was there, like, Trump had just become president. And I'm like, all right. whatever happens, he ain't getting as bad as this shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, hope not.
No, it puts that into perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then like, yeah, I mean, it's a horrible thing, but it's also like, I mean, it's the truth and it's saying something. You know, I think what it did for me is it made me feel right away. Your first thought to me is, oh, this was not that long ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because you see it. Schindler's List is in black and white. Everyone's frame of reference of the Holocaust is Schindler's List.
Yes.
Literally everyone's association, like word association with the Holocaust, is the same word association they do with Taken 3. It's just Liam Neeson, you know? But like
the least Jewish man.
Yeah, I know.
Associated with the most Jewish.
But it's black and white, which also makes us feel like it was a long time ago. We think the Holocaust was in black and white. And then you go there and you're like, no, the Holocaust was in color.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It was the 40s.
Yeah, these people had phones.
Yeah, Snow White had come out, you know what I mean? Yeah. Fucking the movie Casablanca had come out. Yeah. You know, like it was during that time. And when you see the buildings and all preserved, you're like,
and it looks like New York.
Yeah,
I mean, or like
yeah, and it's just a camp. It's just like But Auschwitz too. That's the one that really gets you.
The Birkenau.
Yeah. Birkenau.
Yeah.
Whenever people are like Auschwitz 1, I'm like, you haven't seen the sequel. The sequel, that is the ultimate.
Yeah.
Because that's where the
worst stuff.
Well, it is crazy. I had a shitty guide. Did you have a shitty guide?
We left the tour immediately. My mom and I just were like,
Are you allowed to do that?
I mean, like, no.
I'm talking to a fucking cheater here. You're like, yeah, I should have done that because
we just like got in the back of the group, and then as soon as the group moved forward, we were like, and we're off.
She was Polish. She had like a sing-songy voice, which just was incongruous.
Yes.
She was like, and next we're gonna go to the where they destroyed all the Jews. But it is crazy when you're on that field where the destroyed gas chambers are.
Yeah. Because
you're like, wow, I am sitting on a field where the most amount of murder in human history ever took place. 1 million or 1.3 people were killed on this area. And I'm standing on the greatest crime scene in human history. So, Dumb and Dumber. Your movie you picked was Dumb and Dumber, which, first of all, bad movie for this podcast, because I'm not only trying to shit on movies, but I do have fun shitting. But Dumb and Dumber is a perfect movie, but we can appreciate it. I will say, surprising choice for you, because I know you hate this movie, which I lost almost all respect for.
I've never seen Sideways. I hated how you were talking about women or something.
Oh.
It was whatever you were saying about women that drove me nuts.
You know
I've never seen Sideways.
I was getting mad at a woman who liked Sideways, who didn't like Sideways.
There we go.
And then you tried to defend her, yeah.
And I was, I just hated how you talked about gender.
Okay, well, you must love, because I was about to say, Dumb and Dumber and Sideways is kind of, two mature people going on a road trip, But you haven't seen Election? You haven't seen Alexander Payne movie? Okay, here's my theory about you picking Dumb and Dumber. Tell me if I'm right.
Yeah. It's the only movie I've ever seen.
Dumb and Dumber is a great movie. I love it. It's a perfect movie, one of the funniest movies of all time. But when someone says it's their favorite movie, it makes me think they don't really like movies that much.
Yeah, 100%.
And they just picked one that's really fun.
That's not, no. There is a reason that it's my favorite, but also you are right that like I don't watch that many movies.
I mean, we just literally mentioned two of the great, Election and
Sideways.
Yeah. And you're like, what is that? Yeah.
No.
Do you know who that is on The Shark?
That's Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, I guess that's an obvious one.
I was gambling there. I was really working. I saw Jaws on a plane and I didn't watch the last 10 minutes of it because the plane landed.
Oh, so, and you didn't go to finish it?
That's how
God,
I've
you
seen
fucking
Jaws.
hate movies. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I know there's a plane roll, you don't finish it, but you got to make it. You don't even know how it ends.
Me on this podcast, what you should be shitting on is me and my relationship with movies.
I'm going to. Have you seen any of these movies? These are some of my favorite movies.
No.
Okay. So that is kind of what Dumb and Dumber is a great movie. It's kind of like when people who are say, I like Bob Dylan, my favorite album is Desire, which is where he sounds very like vocally nice. Desire is a great album, but they're saying that because they don't really like Dylan.
Yes.
That's kind of Dumb and Dumber is great.
No, but let me tell you why Dumb and Dumber, why I have Dumb and Dumber as my favorite, because that is one of the movies that I have seen the most.
Mm-hmm.
I have watched, like in high school, my group of friends, we would just constantly watch Dumb and Dumber, Tommy Boy, and Zoolander.
Okay.
Like absolutely on repeat. And I think that they like shaped my sense of humor a lot. So I think it like actually impacted me. And also,
I don't see that.
I don't necessarily think that like my jokes sound like a Dumb and Dumber joke, but I think that like who I am, I'm not a girly girl. I want the humor to be like fairly straightforward. It like that kind, woke comedy does drive me nuts, even though I agree with all of them on principle, like I think that kind of like commercially accessible male POV is the like foundation of my humor.
Yeah, it is a surprise. I don't like Jordan Jensen said Matrix. I'm like, I totally see that.
Yeah.
If Matrix was a person, it would be an androgynous, tough,
for sure.
Rebel, and whoever, Maddie Smith, hers was Stars Born. I totally see that. She has bad taste. And like, and Perlman Truman Show. Yeah, of course. But Dumb and Dumber is interesting. Like I usually wait for the ending, even though I never do, about talking about what it says about you. But it's fascinating. Usually I feel like I know, but we'll talk a little more in depth about that in a second.
In my solo show, I have a scene where I am talking about being 15 and getting on the marching band bus and seeing my marching band boyfriend sitting in the back of the bus with 2 flute players on his lap at the same time. And that is in this show that we've been talking about. And that happened. I was 15 and my marching band went to London. And we marched in the London New Year's Day parade.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't have. We were a bad marching band. I don't know why we got invited. But we were there for a week, and the parade is only one day. And so you're like driving to castles and going on tours of museums and whatever the fuck. And we had gone to a castle, and he had not hung out with me all day. And then there was a 2-hour ride back from the castle back to our hotel in London. And I got on the bus, and he was in the back, and he had these 2 flute players on his lap. And I saw it, and I was like, I was just so crushed. And it was like we had made out 3 times over 6 months of dating or whatever.
Not
like
penetrative sex.
Yeah, no, barely. Barely dating.
Yeah.
Barely penetrative. We'd never kissed, but we did fuck a little bit. But I saw that and I felt so hurt, and I was like, I'm not even going to confront him. I'm not going to talk to him about it. I'm just going to come up to the front of the bus, and I'm just going to sit. And 2 of our friends in that mutual friend group, 2 guys sat next to me. I cried for like half an hour. And then I cried for like half an hour, and then they sat next to me, and the way they cheered me up was we quoted Dumb and Dumber and Tommy Boy and Zoolander for the next hour and a half of that bus ride, and we just like basically recited the entire movies.
Okay.
And it like cheered me up and distracted me and whatever. So I feel it's like yes, I don't watch very many movies, but also it's not like a random pick.
Okay, so it has an emotional.
Yeah.
It has an emotional.
And like a foundational, yeah.
So for you, that was like the movie that actually. See, I love movies from a place where I'm like almost detached from life. It sounds like for you, life is like such a primacy for you that you had to pick a movie that actually like helped your life kind of.
Well, also I just don't have any other movies. Also, what am I gonna do? I mean, honestly, I'm like, I watched Gattaca and I was like, that's an incredible movie.
Well, yeah, because you've seen 3 movies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I was still in Minneapolis doing stand-up, Josh Gondelman came through and was headlining, and we were all sitting
I'm so worried. Like,
yeah, do you think yours is not recording?
No, I guess it is.
Test.
I don't know. Yeah. Hello. Fuck. Does it seem like it's? Wait, you go test.
Test.
Hello. Yeah, it's working. Sorry.
And we're not going to edit that out.
So, but let's talk about the movie.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I get that connection. I what do you love about the movie?
It's so funny.
It is very funny. It is, yeah.
It's perfect.
It's a perfect movie, and it is just hilarious from top to bottom. It's like Naked Gun, a lot of Naked Gun humor, but mixed in with Naked Gun's another comedy you haven't seen.
But it's with the guy who killed the woman. O.J.
Simpson, yes. That's your favorite reference is like me with sports. I only know athletes if they've raped and murdered someone.
Yeah.
But like, to me, the thing that I just love about this movie is Jim Carrey's emotionality. Every time he starts crying, I just find it so funny.
Yeah.
Like just
do you feel that about every Jim Carrey movie?
Him crying, or just like
his emotion, like his expression?
Yeah, he's so over the top and screaming. But the crying in Dumb and Dumber is so funny to me. Just like obviously in the window, he's like, I'm tired of I'm tired of being, not only am I tired of being nobody, I'm tired of having nobody.
Yeah.
But then also the part where Jeff Daniels gets mad because they drove 5 hours in the wrong direction. And he's like, well, we can't all be perfect. Some of us make mistakes. And he just starts crying.
Yeah.
His emotions on his sleeve, I find. And then him like almost about to throw up when he sees Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to explain, but it's just like incredible.
It's so good. I mean, I don't have anything.
What's
good
your
to say
favorite joke?
Probably the ones that I'm trying to think of the ones that we used would quote the most. You had a second pair of gloves? Yeah, it's the Rockies. that randomly. Honestly, probably our pets' heads are falling off.
Yeah, the second pair of gloves is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, interesting.
Pretty bird.
This
Pretty
movie,
bird.
you love this movie.
I just thought he was real quiet.
You love this movie because it helped you get through the one time you were cheated on.
Yeah.
Interesting. I just connected that in my head.
Now, my current boyfriend makes an argument that some of the things I count as cheating, this is aside from Dumb and Dumber, but that some of the ways that I count myself as cheating, me having an emotional affair in relationships where I didn't physically cheat, but I still think that counts as cheating.
Well, I assume he's going to make some. I assume he's going to make the rules a little loose. By the way, there's a guy who dated her after he saw her show.
Mm-hmm. But but he has made the argument that he's been for sure a couple of my exes did that kind of had emotional affairs with me. And so he's been you have been cheated on by your own standards. But anyway, that's a side note.
But by the way, I'm trying to connect this to Dumb and Dumber, and I'm it's so obvious. Cheating is a big part of Dumb and Dumber. If anything, it's at the core of Dumb and Dumber.
Her with the...
No, Jim Carrey cheated on Jeff Daniels' girlfriend. Oh, well, they were... I guess that's not cheating. I guess it's not cheating, exactly. Not cheating. Two guys being deceptive to each other.
Yeah. Lying.
Lying. I
think the word you're looking for is...
Is it cheating? Because Jeff Daniels with that girl Fletcher...
With the woman at the end?
No, in the hot tub. They're talking about that girl.
Uh-huh.
And then Jim Carrey clearly fucked her.
Oh, yeah.
But then Jeff Daniels, dating Laura, whatever her name is, while lying to Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
That's the connection.
Now I don't remember any of their names, but the woman who lives in Aspen, you're talking about them, when they start to...
Yeah. But I love this movie. Not only do I think it's a hilarious movie, I actually think, I don't know, maybe I'm being pretentious. I think there's some real depth in the movie, or at least it's very moving. Because to me, what's moving about the movie, I talked about this a little on Joe and Raanan Talk podcast, but they are soulmates.
Yeah.
And they keep on thinking they want to find a lady or someone, and they keep on fighting, and they don't realize they have already found their soulmate.
They're perfect
relationship. They're perfect each other.
Yes.
And at the end, it's pretty beautiful.
And it's a love story.
It's a love story between them two.
Yeah.
And it's pretty beautiful because no one else will ever be as equally stupid in the same way.
Right. No one else will ever fill the holes that they need filled. Yeah.
And so all the fights, it's really about them two the whole time.
Of course.
And then it's kind of beautiful at the end when the bus comes.
And the girls.
And they give them they're like, what, you idiot? And they
wait.
Look what you've done, and they give that
is that direction,
and then the bus drives away, and then they both go, one day we'll catch a break, and this is to me the beautiful part. They start going, you're it, and that you're it. You're like, that's the break.
Yeah,
that's the break they caught. They found each other.
They're in love.
What other man plays you're it with each other? So there is a beauty to the movie. I've always found it very beautiful. Like there's a beauty to their relationship.
I think it sounds like I picked the correct favorite movie. Yeah. I think it sounds like I'm actually incredibly sophisticated in my taste.
Well, it is. No, you're right. Well, which brings us to another thing that's very upsetting, which is this movie has 67% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Critics are so fucking stupid when it comes to comedies. So stupid. It's a perfect movie. One of the greatest comedies ever. Mixed reception when it came out, and I looked at some of the reviews. They're like, it's a okay, fun, stupid movie. And it makes me so upset because it is not a stupid movie. It is about stupid people.
Yeah.
The movie is very witty.
Oh, it's
Like,
brilliant.
It's just like Naked Gun. Like, you have to be witty to think of the wordplay, the cleverness, the misdirection.
Oh, and to think of men playing You're It.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to think of the incredibly beautifully structured plot, which is just a great plot.
Yeah.
Like, the idea.
It never jumps the shark. It continues escalating in a way that feels satisfying the whole way along. The FBI reveal at the end.
FBI reveal
doesn't feel like heavy-handed.
The FBI, though, it is funny that, like, obviously they make the joke that, like, they risked him getting shot in the face. But why'd they have to break it then? Couldn't they have just broken it in right away? Like, what are they even getting? Did they already know what happened? Were they getting a confession? Or
Yeah, I don't know.
couldn't they just broke in, like, right away?
Yeah, I guess so. What were they getting?
I don't know. But this is, obviously, in this movie, it's not that big of a problem because Dumb and Dumber. There's also a big problem in, I don't know if you've ever seen Reservoir Dogs. But
No, I haven't.
There's like a police officer and he's part of the undercover as a heist. But then the cops they let them do the heist. And then there's like a big shootout like afterwards. It's like, why don't they just arrest them all while they're planning?
When they're planning it?
Yeah. But anyway.
Does that bother you when there's a, like, if you just take XYZ simple action, the rest of the movie wouldn't happen?
It
Like,
depends.
wouldn't have to happen?
It depends on how glaring it is. If it's not something you thought of while you're watching it, I'd say it's okay. Because obviously there's like, obviously a lot of things don't make sense in movies.
Sure,
You know
there's
what
a suspension of
I
disbelief.
mean, Hannibal, I do a bit about this, but the odds that a cannibal just happens to be named Hannibal, you know, and no one is like, well, that's pretty wild odds that one of the very few people named Hannibal has a very rare proclivity that rhymes with that. But like, but you don't think of it in the time, I guess. No, it's also a problem with this movie Heat where they rob a bank and the cops decide to do a shootout like right after, like
I haven't seen it.
in public as opposed to just following them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But anyway, whatever. It's obviously does not matter in this movie, but it's
Seen the Heat.
but yeah, no, I mean it's just a beautiful movie about friendship and just so fucking funny.
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
And it's a perfect instruction manual for how to write
dialogue. That's what it's about, like dialogue structure. Yeah.
I mean, movie structure and like how to write jokes in dialogue that both land as hard punchlines and feel very believable.
I read the script once. I've talked about it on it, but there's a deleted scene in the script.
Oh,
and it's
really?
like the funniest thing ever. I'm like, I don't know why they didn't have it in
What's
there.
the deleted scene?
It's a flashback to them getting fired. And they're like, you're fired. You're like, come on. And he's like, you missed these 3 days of work. He's like, yeah, but we got snowed in. And the boss is like, you're snowplowers.
Great.
It's like one of the best jokes. Yeah. I mean, so many jokes I love. The gloves thing is amazing. I mean, the parrot with the tape on him is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, every moment is just like amazing. Yeah.
Mark. Yeah.
I mean, that part's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all just purely amazing. I mean, also it has a bit that is not only funny, but
I got ants.
yeah, no,
That's what we're
worms.
gonna call. I got worms.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not only
I just misquoted.
it has a bit that I think gets to the core of human nature, which is when he tells her he really likes her, and he's like, "What are the odds that you be into me?" And
So you're
she's
saying
like,
there's a chance?
1 out of a million. He goes, "So you're saying there's a chance?"
Yeah.
That is human nature right
Yeah.
there. Just like the delusion at the core.
And it's a perfect joke.
Perfect joke. So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, it's the absolute perfect left turn.
Yeah.
So simple, so short.
And the structure of the movie is incredible. I mean, first of all, outside of it just being a star vehicle for Jim Carrey, it's a great premise. The idea of someone leaving a suitcase and an idiot taking it, even though it's meant for a ransom, and then bringing it back to her, and then getting it's just such a great story outside of
when they spend the money.
Yeah.
The characters are so three-dimensional despite being so insane.
And the humor goes back and forth between they're stupid, but they're also obnoxious. So the humor can
Yes.
kind of go back and
Yes.
forth between the two, you know? But it's like
Samsonite. I was way off.
there's a moment I always wonder who's dumber? It's Dumb and Dumber. There's definitely a moment that answers that. Can you guess what moment?
I'm trying to think what's.
Where you realize which one of them is
No, I
dumber.
know. I'm trying to think what moment.
It's a moment where Jeff Daniels is helping Jim Carrey read. the newspaper.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's just like
Yeah.
It's a great old movie. I mean, I can't even say anything negative. Obviously, I don't even think it's negative. There's a couple homophobic things that maybe don't hold up.
Sure.
They definitely conflate gay with rapist when they have the stall.
When?
Well, the
Oh,
stall is
yeah.
the name when he just writes that name.
Yeah.
As if he's just going to come back then and not understand that, like, oh, maybe someone's just taking a piss right then. And then when he sees him, he's like, well, I'm going to rape you. But that being aside, and that's still great. And structurally, it's amazing. I mean, like, the fact that the cops are on to them, but then they just drive the other way, the way their stupidity helps them out. Yeah. It's just a beautiful plot, beautiful movie.
Oh yeah, and the intricacy of when the two bad guys think that they are threatening them, think
Yes.
that Harry and Lloyd are threatening them.
Gas man.
Yeah.
How do you know?
How does he know I have gas?
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay. I'll answer this in a second. But yeah, it's just an incredible movie. Yeah. So I guess I see what I see what it says about you in terms of like. Just make sure she didn't text me. It's mad.
Just text her and tell her you're recording.
Okay. Yeah.
We're not gonna edit this
dead
either.
air, though. All right. I'll just do it. Talk to the camera about yourself.
Just edit this out. This is. What do you mean you can't edit?
That's just crazy. I can't text her that recording in the middle of recording. This is unhealthy. She can wait till it's over.
She can wait till it's over.
I feel like everyone just saw me being a real bitch right now. I was like,
No, I feel like no, absolutely not. It was.
No?
I think it's crazy. To me, it was crazy that you checked. It was crazy that you didn't just like hang up the phone.
Yeah, right.
But then once you're that deep in,
Yeah,
you were only texting her because I told you to text her.
No,
I guess, yeah. Everybody did see you being a real bitch when you hung up and then started checking and said, "I want to see if she's
my
mad."
buttons has been open. We might have to do this whole podcast again.
Okay.
Well, you know what it is. I try to clean the house before she gets home, and I worry sometimes I make mistakes.
Why don't you just try harder? Then?
I do. Stop being. This is the part of you that's annoying. Stop.
But this
always
is the-
being on the woman's side, just instinctually.
This is. I know. Yeah. This
It's
is the
so
part of you that's
stupid.
annoying. Oh my God,
Why don't you
Ron.
just try harder?
But it's the things like when women are like, yeah, but you can't. You know, like here's a specific way of doing some specific housework.
But how do you know?
because
But how do you
here's
know I don't try harder? What are you assuming? I try hard.
Because
I
it
literally
sounds
just
like
worried that maybe I fucked up. That's trying hard.
no. That's no. If you try hard, then you are confident that you did not fuck up.
I have never cheated on my girlfriend once. Once again, shut the fuck up. Yeah, you told the world.
I know
great,
it's a
but you
trump card
can't-
forever. I
you
know. I know.
You can't go back to you lost the ability to be self-righteous. That was a sacrifice. Okay? But yeah, it's a great movie. I guess when I see it, what it says about you, I mean, yeah, like what we talked about, it is interesting, the cheating thing. That's fascinating.
The lying.
That this movie comforted you when you had been cheated on. And you quoted it, and then you're saying, to get back, I'm going to cheat on every man I've ever been with. But structurally also,
see,
you're someone
hurt people.
You're someone who loves structure.
Yeah.
And you can see in your show. Your show is very well structured.
Thank you.
And Dumb and Dumber is one of the
Incredibly.
greatest structured movies. Which, all right, I can't say the movie sucks this time, but I will say critics suck. That's where I'll make it.
Great.
The fact that critics cannot recognize the fact that they said 67% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, I think part of the issue is that structure.
This is unbuttoned. Sorry.
Watching your OCD expose itself real time is very fun. I think the thing is that in the 90s, movie structure was much more formulaic, and it was much more broadly applied across all commercial movies. And so structure didn't. It was sort of it's a dime a dozen. Like, yeah, they all have that structure. They all are very plotted. They all are intricately woven together, some more successfully than others. Like, sometimes the weaving doesn't work, or sometimes the escalation becomes too much a crescendo, or it doesn't get big enough. But the structure itself is sort of in the 90s not the notable thing, and so it doesn't win any
Interesting.
points
You
with
think
the
it's,
critics.
It's more noticeable now because movies have fallen off that a little?
Yeah, I think people.
I mean, there is a lack. I mean, it's true. I mean, like every Marvel movie is like 12 hours long, which is a lack of structure. And then independent films go out of their way to have no plot,
Right.
like to the point where they're actually pretty boring. So it's like we don't have that middle ground.
Totally, and I think that like that middle ground of commercial studio comedies has been completely hollowed out,
Right.
and we have somehow lost the market for it, which I don't quite understand why. But
it's still, I mean, yeah, I get it, but the structure it's not just structure. It's, and this is similar. Like the top thing in a stand-up act, in my opinion, is if your segue between jokes is also a joke.
Sure.
That's the ultimate thing, because that is it's a segue, but it's also a joke,
Yeah.
right? And this movie, things weave together, but the things that weave together are all amazing jokes.
Yes.
So they would be amazing on their own. The fact that they fuck around with sea bass, that whole hilarious part,
Yeah.
and then it leads to him drinking the piss, and it leads to Seabass being mad at him, and then later he goes to the stall, and it ends up being Seabass. The way that comes back, the way Jeff Daniels lights his foot on fire while talking to the FBI agent, that hilarious moment,
Yeah.
which is one of the funniest gags, when he's like, my ex is the clutch, is like, oh, I hear you, and then he puts his hand on the side view mirror and it breaks
Yeah.
off immediately. The fact that his foot catches on fire, he rushes to the bathroom, knocks Seabass unconscious, puts his foot in the toilet. The fact that these two brilliant, like, humorous subplots converge, it's just beautiful. I mean, it's just like an incredible, it's just an incredible thing. It's just so fucking well structured, and with great gags that structure themselves.
Well, the cartoonist of Calvin and Hobbes, I read what he said, that you have to know the rules really well to know how to break them.
For sure.
And this is feels like relative to that, where it's you have to be really smart to make something really dumb enjoyable.
Yes.
And to not make it just hacky, to not just make it be people saying retard into a microphone.
Yeah, exactly.
To make it feel original and satisfying while being so stupid.
Yes.
You have to be really, really, really smart about it.
And critics are so dumb for not realizing that that's smart. I mean, that's just
again, I think the broader theme that I want to say with the structure was more commonly accessible in the 90s, in movies in the 90s, is also just that type of movie was around more in the 90s. That kind of middle tier, commercial studio comedy was much more a dime a dozen as a style of movie. And so I think, again, it doesn't stand out as special.
I guess, but humor-wise, it was still funnier. I mean,
Yeah.
the people loved it.
Yeah.
The people are all right sometimes. It's one of those movies where it grossed a lot of money. You're like, the people are right. It's a fucking hilarious fucking movie. And the critics critics have to make everything about themselves. Mm-hmm. And for comedies, they don't like comedies.
And as stand-ups, we don't know anything about that.
I'm just saying, it's easier to criticize a bad movie or a good movie and talk about what it means to you. But when something's just like a great comedy, it is kind of like, it's just great. But the critics, it takes it away from them. But it was a real, I love critics. I love film critics. But that's a real big blind spot for a lot of them, is not really understanding comedies and how to appreciate it.
And I also think it's harder to talk positively about comedy in a way that doesn't sound dumb.
Yes.
Because when you talk positively about comedy, you're just sort of like, that was funny.
Yeah, right.
Hey, duh.
Right.
I like that.
Right.
And you can explain why comedy doesn't work very sophisticatedly.
Right.
You can explain why drama does work very sophisticatedly or doesn't work very sophisticatedly. But why comedy does work is just it was so short, but it was surprising. It's I think there's a lot less to say when a comedy works.
Right. It's true. And it's what they say, when you comedy dies when you analyze it. So maybe critics, I mean, there's truth, but either way, that still gives no excuse for critics going, it's a dumb movie.
Yeah.
No excuse for that.
Yeah.
My dad did that once. I'll never forgive him. We watched Big Lebowski. He died laughing the entire time. And my dad has an embarrassing laugh. It's like a cough laugh. Mm-hmm. So he's just in the movie theater it feels like he has tuberculosis.
Yeah.
We leave it and he goes, it was a fun, stupid movie. I'm like, that movie gave you more joy than I've ever seen you have in your life, and you're going to dismiss it as a stupid movie? I also don't like when black people think something's funny, they go, that's retarded. No, that's smart. What? It's not retarded.
Do only black people say that?
It's like a black person, and not all black, but it's a black person thing. I I just like look. I love black people. They sometimes have
Say it into the microphone.
they have some people in black culture have pejorative terms for when someone's funny. They're like, "You're stupid. You're retarded." Well, no, I'm not. I made you laugh.
I think that's nitpicking.
But anyway, so I do think like that is upsetting that that critics can't. It's the same thing with Naked Gun. People call Naked Gun stupid. An idiot did not come up with. He has only a 30% chance of. He has a 60% chance of surviving, but only a 30% chance of that, or like whatever, like that line. That's a smart line.
Yeah. I think I was on your side when you were mad at critics calling Dumb and Dumber dumb, but it's funny to hear how offended you get at the idea of calling anything that you think is smart stupid, even like casually being like, yeah, that was dumb, it was fun. Well,
I mean, you could.
I feel like you are defending your own intelligence and the intelligence of these screenwriters who you don't know, and I don't think anybody would call these people stupid, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think
like, why does that hit you?
I mean,
why does that offend you?
67%. Like, critics panned it.
Like, I know. I'm on your side on this specific.
But that's the same thing. They panned it because they think it's stupid.
Yeah, they. I don't know why. I didn't read the reviews, but I believe you.
Quit playing devil's advocate, all right?
No, I just think it's funny that your dad said that's a fun, dumb movie, and you got mad.
Well, first of all, Big Lebowski is a masterpiece. It's not a fun, dumb movie. I mean, I know you've never seen it, but like,
no, I have.
You have? Yeah. It's a masterpiece. The idea of calling it. I mean, first of all, I mean, it's insane. Those are some of the best written characters. I don't know. I just think it's silly. You know,
I know, but I love that you're taking it. You take it personally. Like you take critiques of films.
Can I tell you my theory why?
Yeah, please.
This is probably not true, but my theory, the narrative I've created, is that Aristotle wrote the Poetics, right? Which was a book on the structure of dramas, tragedies, and theater, and he explained the whole structure of how to write a tragedy. It was basically he was the Robert McKee of his day, but it was about tragedies, and it was talking about like all the things that were used in the perfect tragedy. One revolution of the sun, it would be like one day, and hubris and catharsis. He wrote a book on comedy, on the comedies, and that book got lost. And I believe because that book got lost, and people believe, they say that Aristotle's Poetics actually gave legitimacy to tragedies. Like at the time it was seen as entertainment. But Aristotle, the great philosopher, by writing this book, gave legitimacy to it. And because his book on comedy got lost, the legitimacy towards comedy also got lost. That's my theory.
I completely believe that, but that doesn't explain why you take your dad calling Big Lebowski fun and dumb personally.
Well, call it fun, but it's just not dumb. I mean, there's nothing dumb about it.
I agree. I'm on your side.
Yeah.
Buddy, I'm with you.
It's just, I just thought he was dismissing. My dad is I've never seen him smile in his life. The only time I've ever seen him have joy, and he dismisses it. He called it a dumb Cheech and Chong movie, which is also not like crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a great movie. I'll say one little fact before we get out of here that I found pretty interesting. This is on Wikipedia. I don't know. Like, part of me thinks it's like, I don't believe it. I mean, it's so crazy that like maybe Wikipedia got the number wrong, but this is what it says on Wikipedia. Can you guess how much Jim Carrey got paid for the movie?
He was already a star.
Yeah, he had already done Ace Ventura. Yeah.
I have no idea. Let me guess.
Okay.
2 million.
7 million.
Okay.
Guess how much Jeff Daniels got paid?
100,000.
50,000.
Wow.
50,000.
Ouch.
And apparently they gave him so low because they didn't want him to be in the movie, so they thought
they were trying to.
Jim Carrey wanted him. Jim Carrey wanted an actor, not another comedian. The studio wanted another comedian, and Jim Carrey wanted another actor because he thought a comedian would just try to top him.
Yeah.
Which is egomaniacal, but also probably the right decision.
I think it's right.
It's the right decision. And
also, that sentence is everything about Jim Carrey's career.
Yeah. Egomaniacal, but correct.
But the right decision, yeah.
But the right decision. So he wanted an actor, and the studio wanted another comedian. Apparently, originally it was going to be Nicolas Cage and Gary Oldman. But
wow.
But so
what a different world we would live in.
I know. But
Trump wouldn't be president.
No. But so 50,000 was what they gave him because they wanted him to say no, so they could get a comedian, and he fucking took it. And his agents told him not to. They said, you won't be considered a serious actor anymore because he was, he had been
Good
in terms
for
of
Jeff
impairment.
Daniels.
He fucking took it, yeah.
That's awesome.
I know. And by the way, he's a very respected actor now. Those agents
Absolutely.
were fucking wrong. All he gets is like, To Kill a Mockingbird or whatever the fuck.
That's awesome.
It just goes to show you how dumb agents are. You know what I mean? Though, if I was his agent, I probably also would tell him not to take a $50,000 deal.
Sure. Well, it also goes to show that when you get a bad offer is never like out of the blue. Like I dealt with this recently where I got an offer that was bad and it was like, and my team was pushing back and the company was not budging on a couple of the red line things. And I was like, and we wound up going with a different team because of it. And I called a friend of mine who used to work at Netflix. So she was on the buyer side. Now she's on the producer side. And I explained what was going on. And she was like, oh, they wanted you to walk. She was like, look at the offer you got. They don't know what the other offer they're up against is, but they know what you want. They know that they're not coming, they're not coming on this negotiation.
There's like a intention behind it.
Right. They got too hot too fast and they needed the deal to fall apart. And so they didn't move on some of your red line things.
By the way, knowing you, I just know when you're like, I got to call someone and ask. You went to it was called the networking Rolodex. You had amassed it.
Yeah, absolutely. No. She's at the top of the network.
I don't even know.
I don't even.
I love your networking. You came here. You're like, can you get me to stand? And I said no. And then I'm like, I hope that's not the only reason she came.
It's the only reason. You're fucking welcome for that. I'm still here.
But I love your networking. I think it's great. You know what I mean? But yeah,
maniacal, but probably correct.
But yeah, so I think it's a good place to. Oh yeah, well maybe what Jeff Daniels was doing, maybe that was great method acting, offering at such a low point. They're like, he really is a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But this is a great episode. We went pretty long, but I just we talked about a lot.
We talked about a lot. We talked about cheating and Auschwitz and Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, it was all my favorite topics. And I don't know when this is coming out, but do you have any plugs?
I have a web series called In Tandem with Chloe Radcliffe. It's a tandem bike interview web series where I put a comedian on the back of a tandem bike.
That's all. Yeah, I'm going to do it at some point,
Yeah,
right?
I would love to have you on.
Yeah.
Full episode on YouTube.
Is that the thing you do where you're on the bike alone, or is that something else?
Well, when I'm on a bike alone, it's my bike that's a one-person bike.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then a tandem bike has two seats, and I put a person on the tandem.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I'll do that, even though I find bikes extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll do that.
We've got insurance.
You got insurance?
Yeah.
Do you have insurance for death?
Oh, yeah. My insurance brings you back to life.
That's pretty good. Yeah. So, yeah,
We'll
check that out. And for me, you know the deal. I'm on Substack. It's in the link in my bio. I'm writing a lot of good shit there, so you got to check it out. And
I gotta get on that.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
On yours.
Oh yeah, get on mine. Yeah, and
Pay? I'm not gonna.
No, it's free.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, there's a paid. I try to lure you in after that, but yeah, it's free. Get it on. A lot of good writing on there. But
if I do say so myself, egomaniacal, but correct.
Well, I'm trying to be better at promoting.
Okay.
And I'm touring all over the country, so check it out. Go to punchup.live/Raanan, and you'll see all my dates. I got a new hour. It's good stuff. I feel like it's in a really good place. I've done it for a while now, so I'll probably be recording soon. So check it out on the road. And thanks again, Chloe, for coming on the show. It was great. You're the best. We'll be back next week.
Raanan is fat and he's a Jew. He'll tell you something that you already knew. Your favorite movie sucks. Your favorite movie sucks. American Beauty or Forrest Gump. Your favorite movie sucks.